Ed Milet says is he calls it blissful dissatisfaction, if you're familiar with that term. And it means that you're happy with everything that you've accomplished. Like you're blissful, you're in that state of bliss and gratitude, but welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello, and today we're going to be talking about how the journey is the destination. We've heard this so many times before. I've probably talked about it before, but it is important, and I want to dive into this topic again today. So I think that we just have to chill a little bit. We're all trying to get somewhere, and the funniest thing is that once we get there, we forget how far we've come, and we're already looking on to the next thing, right? We get there, we're happy for a little bit, and then we want to move to that next thing, that next big thing. And there's an image, I'll see if we can flash it up on the screen over here, where it shows a dog and a human. The dog is thinking about the dog with the human. They're both sitting next to each other. The human's thinking about a car, a plane, a house, like material things. And the caption says, this is why the dog is happier, because the dog is actually in the present moment, not thinking about all these things that it doesn't have yet. And there was a Russell Brunson post that he recently put up on Instagram that really resonated with me. And he said, the number one thing I've struggled with my entire life, the kid with no direction or motivation to the serial entrepreneur who never stops, there's something powerful about being a high achiever. You have this drive and you push and you get to accomplish great things. But the biggest downside is it's hard to ever just be. There are only 2 times in my life where I felt like I could rest, where I felt like, I did it. The first was when I won the state title in wrestling, and the second was when I did 3 million in sales at the 10X event. The rest of my life has been running and sprinting. And I don't know about you, but for me, it's always like when the book's done, when the event's done, when the next thing is done, then I'll rest. But it never comes. As we finish one thing, we start the next. It's nonstop. And this has brought up a couple important thoughts to me, or for me, that I want to share. How do you achieve fulfillment? How do you feel content? If you know the answers, please let me know. So it sounds like he doesn't even know the answers. He's trying to see if someone else does. But in the meantime, this is what I'm going to do. Try this with me. Set goals that have a celebration time. Include the celebration as part of the goal. When you achieve your goal, now you get to celebrate and rest. Take a day off or do something meaningful that you enjoy. For you, not for your business. Deal? So that was pretty much it. And then he had a call to action, like or affirm or whatever, But I really love that because we have to take time to celebrate. A lot of us don't do this. We're jumping from one thing to the next. We hit a goal, we hit a milestone. We're not even excited about it because we're still worried about all the things we still have to do. And it's constantly a feeling of lack that we may have or overlooking what we have achieved. I do feel this. And maybe it's just the unpredictability in the real estate business that I'm in, where income and closings, you could have amazing, like I had a perfect example. I had 2 buyers looking to buy houses. It was about 30K of potential commission. I was seeing that on my whiteboard as if it were like a done deal. And both of those deals fell through. So it evaporated, turned into zero, no income, no houses for my clients. The market's really tough for buyers right now, as you may know. And it's just that unpredictability that kind of churns my stomach a little bit. And I know just based on working with a business coach, working with a life coach, going through these things, talking through these things is extremely helpful. And in a discussion with my life coach, I was saying that I honestly feel like I would feel better if I made $2,000 consistently every month, like knowing that's coming in no matter what, passively, than if I unexpectedly made $30,000 on the very last day of the month or quarter. Like I wouldn't feel as good about that because I was still living in a constant state of maybe stress and uncertainty, a little anxiety. So it's a little weird, I know, because you look back and you're like, well, dude, you had a 30K day or a 30K month or whatever. To me, I'd rather know the security, I guess, which is extremely weird because I am chasing scale and bigger months and more income, but I still don't like that feeling of not knowing how I'm going to do. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe you can resonate with this. I guess it depends on the type of business you're in, because for real estate, again, it's like the life cycle is pretty long. People, unless they're investing, are not quite frequently buying or selling. It's like a cycle. They bought this house, they're going to live there for 3 years. Oh, now they're getting a promotion. They're moving to another state. They're selling it or they're renting it out, which is always a bummer too, because I'm like, oh, cool, I can sell it and get a decent commission. And they're like, no, we want to rent it out. And I'm like, man, I'm only going to get half a month's commission for now, but I'm playing the long game knowing that after I help them with this a year or 2 from now, when they're finally ready to sell that, they're going to come back and hit me up. So working through this personally, maybe you can resonate. And then there's a cool image. We'll see if we can pop it up here as well. Remember the days you prayed for the things you have now. I love that quote. This is just something I pulled off of Google, but I've seen it before on Instagram. And it's a nice reminder to have perspective and be grateful for what you have accomplished, for where you are in your life. Something that I love that Ed Milet says is he calls it blissful dissatisfaction, if you're familiar with that term. And it means that you're happy with everything that you've accomplished. Like you're blissful, you're in that state of bliss and gratitude, but you also are a little dissatisfied because you know you have more within you to give, that you have more to give, you're not playing full out, like there's another level and you want to get there. And so I love that phrase, blissful dissatisfaction. I think that's a good mantra, a good thing to live by in a way, where you can appreciate it again, but you also don't settle, you don't get complacent, you keep pushing. So again, the journey is the destination. What is the destination? Like the journey is the actual destination. It's really never ending. And I think that there's no finish line other than death, maybe, right? That's when we stop. Like when you take your last breath, your journey is over. So everything until that point is part of the journey. And I think that's why they say the journey is the destination, because you have to enjoy every day, go through it, be willing to achieve more, do more, like make a positive impact on the world, leave it better than it was when you came. All those things I love and I resonate with. And remember not to lose purpose. We hear about people who retire and shortly thereafter they die. I've heard this several times. And it's because they lost their purpose. They have no will to live. They have nothing they want to live for. Like maybe they hit some goal that they thought was going to make them super happy. It didn't make them happy. And now they have no purpose and no reason to live, because what else are they going to do? They already hit their life purpose. So you need to have a purpose and mission. I do believe that this evolves. And I mean, I'm 31. I haven't figured this out. I'm not the 85-year-old here telling you with my life perspective and wisdom, but this is just my observation based on what I've seen, books I've read, podcasts I've listened to. And I guess a book that I have heard of that I have heard of repeatedly and I still haven't read yet was 5 Regrets of the Dying, where a lot of them regret not spending as much time with their family and, you know, not being themselves and worrying too much about what other people think. So like those ideas and concepts are burned into my mind, where I am trying to focus on what I believe is the most fulfilling way to live my life. And so do what you love, do it until you die. And I honestly think that that's the move to make, in my opinion. So remember, the journey is the destination. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want notifications on when I do these videos. Send me $500 on Venmo if you want. Just kidding. But I mean, hey, if you got value from this and you'd like to, go ahead. I'm not going to say no, you know? So that's it for this episode. If you've got questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I also added a new link. If you want to ask me a question or you want me to do a podcast episode on something, go to chrisbello.com/askchris. That will redirect you to a Google form and I'll get an email about what it is that you'd like to ask me. If it's relevant, if it's a good topic, if it's worthy of creating an episode, I will definitely do that. If it's kind of off topic or random or just completely irrelevant to everything I do, I will most likely ignore it. But yeah, feel free, chrisbello.com/askchris. I would like to do more content based on what my audience would like to hear. So thanks again. Talk soon. Have a great day and see you next time.